In this video, I'm going to be modeling something similar, hopefully, to this fallout locker. So I've got this reference image, we've got a couple of them there, and I've got this reference image. All right, should be relatively straightforward to do. Normally you would do stuff like the dots and maybe the stuff on the side and some bolts in texture, but I'll do it in modeling for you. So it's certainly not going to be low poly. It might come in at around 30,000 tries or whatever. We'll check that out as we go along. But here I am in Blender. My screencast keys are on down here, you can see. And I'm going to start by bringing in, I'll use a plane, I guess, to start it. So we got this. I'm going to press 7 to look down from the top. And I don't want it completely rectangular, so I'm going to press B and box select. Pull those in so it's a little less deep. Really, I'm going to look from the front, press E to extrude, and just bring it up and sort of, imagine that that's a locker there. Okay? All right, press 2 for edge selection and Shift Alt and click. Keep Shift Alt and click. I probably don't need Shift and Alt, really. Just Shift and click. But anyways, I've got those 4 corners, and I'm going to press Control B to bevel. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to pull out a good amount, really. And I'm going to start rolling my mouse wheel up. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go for 5. And just get a pleasant curve, something like that. Okay. Now I'm going to select the top here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and a little bit like that because I'm going to Control B, hold Shift, pull. And as I pull down, I don't want my vertices to cross over like that. Just going to do it as much as I can to get a nice curve, and I'll have that effect there. Okay. Now I'm going to be separating this, but I want to press 3 for face selection, hold Shift, and select that one as well. So I've got all these pieces that are going to make up the top. I'm going to press P to separate by selection, and now I've got that. I can go into edit mode. I'm going to pull that up, and I think I will press 2 for edge selection and Shift Alt and click here. And I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to pull down just a little bit more. And at that point, I'm going to leave that alone. That's going to make the top and the bottom. So I'm going to come down here into this object, press 3 for face selection, select that, X faces. I won't need that. I'm going to mirror it from the top to the bottom. I kind of want this a little bigger, so I'm going to SZ, scale it to Z, and just puff it up a little bit like that. Okay, now I'm going to want this to curve under a little bit, so let's try this. Let's press 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there, and press E and S, and just pull it under a bit, and then slash key to focus just on that. You can see what I've done there, and that allows me to bevel this bottom edge. So now I can Shift Alt and click that, and I can Control B, pull, but I don't need 5. There's 2. I'm going to go for 3 so that I've got a little bit of a rounded edge there. I'll shade smooth, and any shading errors can be addressed by adding a weighted normal and normal's auto smooth. So let's just check that out. All right, so it's a little rounded, and you get some light here due to the bevel, that white area. Okay, so I'll copy that down in a bit. Now let's just actually see how well it fits. In fact, one thing I'm going to have to do is scale it just a bit. I'm going to press S, hold Shift, and just pull just a little bit bigger than the bottom. So it sort of fits on like that. And I think that's going to look okay. All right, so for doing, maybe a little tall too. Well, you know what? We can always fix that. We can select 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click. We can pull this up just a little bit shorter. In fact, why don't we right now select the whole thing, Shift S, cursor to selected. My 3D cursor is right in the middle. Why don't we take this piece? I'm just going to look from the front. I'm going to set the origin to the 3D cursor and then mirror that top down to the bottom. So I'm going to go in the Z, and I'll have the top and the bottom. All right. Now for this front piece, I'm going to Control R to drop an edge loop there, and then Control B to split it, roll my mouse wheel back so I just have the 2 vertical edges, pull over, Now I'm going to stop there. I can zoom in and look, and if it's still too wide, I can scale in the X. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to extrude it back to create this indent. I don't know if you can see it very well there, but right here, this I'm going to make an indent here. I've looked at a couple other images, and it looks a little bit like an indent rather than a separate piece. We're going to try it this way and see how we like it. So I'm going to SX, hold shift, just do something like that. Now I'm going to select this edge and this edge in face selection. I went to number 3, face selection. And I'm going to extrude them back in a little bit. Okay, back into object mode and slash key to focus just on this. We'll have to get rid of some faces. There's a face up here and here. And we're going to come down. There's a face here and here. We're going to X faces, get rid of those. And let's add a bevel on top of this. I'll make that 2 maybe and 0.02. Let's try that. I can shade smooth just to get a sense of what this is looking like. Slash key to bring that stuff back. And then, you can make it narrower if you want, but it does sort of look like a separate piece, just doing it that way. I'm just trying to decide if perhaps I want it a bit narrower. What I might do is go into wireframe, 1 for vertex selection, press B to box select, and try to grab all of that. And then I'll just SX a little bit more. SX, hold shift, pull, and just make it a little narrower. All right, at any rate, I think that's okay. And if we have any shading errors, we won't worry about it quite yet. I just want to have another look at that top and see if I like it relative to these images. It kind of looks a little bit taller. So I'm going to come in, I'll give this a try. I'm going to try SZ, scaling it in the Z, puffing it out a little bit more and pulling it up. And the mirror should take care of the bottom. I think that's going to be okay. All right, so let's save that. So what do we need to do here? This is going to be a separate piece that's going to be on top of this main one here. All right, so I think I'll work on this main one right now and see what we can do about this. I'm going to be cutting into this. And so let me just think for a second here. Yeah, okay. Let's just focus just on that piece there. And I'm going to decide if I want to separate this out. Okay, let's imagine we're here. I want to think this through. Select this face. If I go Control plus, I come down to there. Let me try separating this out. P separate by selection. Still think it looks pretty seamless. Slash key to bring that back. That gives me the ability to have that piece on its own. And it makes it easier to do a boolean just into that. All right, so let's think about this. The handle. Where is it relative to the top and the bottom? It looks to me as if it's pretty much central, so that if I created a piece that's kind of rounded like this and cut in around the center, I would be okay. And then I've got the hinge there. So I'm going to give that a try and see with my 3D cursor pretty much in the middle. I can build it off this, or I'll just bring in another piece. So I'm going to bring in a plane. I'm going to rotate X 90. Let's try to keep this reasonably straightforward. And if it doesn't look exactly like it, it's hopefully going to resemble it. Scale it down, pull it out, and imagine it sticking in. So let's think about how far into this piece it's going to go by coming back to the reference. This is the one I'm looking at right here. Well, we're just going to have to eyeball it. It looks like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 of them would fit across or so. So we're just going to, well, let's go ahead and curve this. I press 1 for vertex selection, box select these, Shift Control B, pull. I'm going to roll my mouse up start doing this. I don't think I want a full circle. I think I want it like that. So I've got 5 vertices, a little bit of a straight area. Let's take that and extrude it back to give it some depth, because we will be cutting in. And I separated this so that I don't also cut into the body. So let's say I did that. I just have to leave myself enough room for the other piece to have even a bigger cutout. And it going to maybe a third or a bit more, not quite halfway, and a little bit of space. And I need to be able to get a handle in there. So let's just look at that. I might take this and ever so slightly nudge it over to there. All right, I'm going to have a look and see that's flipped. So Alt-N, recalculate outside. That's good. And so, okay, let's do this. I'm going to select this piece here. It's got a bevel on it, and I'm going to add a boolean. I'll drag it to the top. I'm going to slash key to look at this. In order for this to work, I need to have some thickness. And so I'm actually going to get rid of this face and this face. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to extrude it back as if it's a door. Okay, slash key. So there it is. All right, it still doesn't look too bad as it is. I can now come in here, and I want to just focus on those 2 things. I want to make sure that this goes all the way through, although I may shorten this. In fact, I could just do that. So let's do that. Just make it a little smaller. So this goes all the way through. Take this and now do my boolean. Hide this. I've cut in. I can still have my bevel on there. Any shading issues can be addressed. So let's bring that back. So I've cut in like this. And that's going to be fine. I'll address the shading issues in a bit. I'm going to Alt-H to bring that back. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually just duplicate it and move it out there and hide it for the moment. Because I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take this back face and pull it in to about there. Let's focus on this one. I want to get rid of that. And I think I'm going to get rid of that as well. And take these, and I can make it a little narrower. I'm going to bevel this. So select that face, Control B, pull. And I can probably get away with just 3. And shade smooth, slash key. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pull that under like that. Now, do I have another piece on here? No, that's just this. Okay, that's fine, I think, like that. Let me double check that. Yeah, okay. Don't worry about the shading yet. So I've kept that piece. I'm going to keep that hidden for now. What I need is another cutaway on a bigger piece. And I'm wondering if I can use this again, or if I want a new plane. I think I kind of wouldn't mind a new plane to do this. And so what I think I'll do is come in here and in edge selection, just select an edge. Let's Shift D and pull it down and see. Yeah, I'm going to make it somewhat narrower and start figuring out where this thing would go and build this. So it's up here, it's in the center, it's just down a little bit from the top, kind of like that. Did I break that out? P, break it out. I'm going to take this, I'm going to go ahead and extrude it down, start getting a sense for it. Okay, so it doesn't come down equally towards the bottom, but it's sort of equal on that side and that side. So let's see, maybe I'll scale in the X just a little bit and bring this down just a little bit more. Say we're going to use this piece here. Okay, so what I'll do is let's round this first of all. Okay, select those vertices and Shift Control B. Pull 3 is probably fine. Let's do that. Let me double check that that's what I want to be doing. And kind of rounded. Okay, let's take that. Let's pull it out now. And then I'm going to E to extrude and pull it back. But looking from the front, I think I'm going to flare it out. Press S. Clear it out like that. Now it doesn't go equally, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to scale it in the X and do that. Now I may have to shrink the whole thing down a little bit. So we've got that. That's all right. So let's slash key to focus on that, and man, I won't get rid of the back yet because then booleans can be weird. So take it back. Let's just take that and for now push that onto here. Okay, good. All right, Alt H, bring this guy back. Now, back to the reference. This is the piece I'm working on right now. I want it obviously not to go to the ends as we've done, and I want a bigger thing, a bigger size there. So I'm going to go into edit mode of this, but go into wireframe, and it fits perfectly this space. I'm going to just press S to scale, and I'm going to drag it in so it's kind of equal here and all the way around, and just go back and say, is that how it looks? Equal relatively all the way around. Now this one's not perfect. It's probably a little bit lower poly as well, but I'm going to go, I think, probably with that. So let's take that and push that onto here. Make sure it goes all the way through this. That is what I want, right? I don't want an underside. I just want it to cut right through that. All right, let's give it a try. Let's just double check that we're lucky we saw that. Alt N, recalculate outside. Good. Okay. On this, it has the bevel. That's good. Let's add a boolean. Would you like to drag it to the top? The eyedropper. Do that. Apply. I can get rid of that. And this is what we have. Okay, so with that done, I'm just going to touch things up a little bit. I'm going to pull that one up a little bit. In fact, I may even just make it larger to fit. Say it's just under there. Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's come in here and grab that and just pull it forward till we sort of match the line a little bit. And in that case, I can get rid of the outer polys as well here. I can get rid of, I didn't even really need to bevel it now that I think about it. In fact, maybe I will get rid of all of that, and it ends up being just that, and that fits in there just fine. It does the job, unless you see down in there, in which case it is possible that I would need to have that down there, and I could take that and I could just bevel that, if it was going to be a problem. And I think it looks a little bit better, catches a bit of light. All right, we'll leave it like that. Let's select this and Shift S cursor to select it. Let's go ahead and bring in a plane, and we'll make that handle, and we'll start seeing how this thing is turning out. All right, so I've got that there. I'm going to scale this in the X and just start to figure out where it's going to go. All right, so looks like this thing is right underneath this line here. So I think it's probably in a pretty good position. So let's go with that. Maybe I'll scale it. Is that a little bit bigger? All right, I'm going to pull that out. And actually, maybe before I do it, I'll bevel it. One for vertex selection, Shift Control B, pull. We just need 3. We'll do that. And we'll extrude back, get rid of that back face, and select this face. I press 3, by the way, to go to face selection. Select that face and Control B. Let's do that. Now we'll bring that in. And I'll just Alt H, recalculate outside to make sure it's facing the right way. I may have put that in too far. Something like that. I'm going to take that and then I'm going to join those together. Have that done. Then I'm going to select this face. Shift S cursor selected. It'll be a little bit easier. In fact, no. I don't even care. I'm going to select an edge, Shift D, pull it into the middle area there, scale it down a bit, and this is going to make my handle. I'm going to pull it out, E to extrude, pull it down, and X edges. And now I have, although I should separate it, let's do that, P, separate by selection. Now I have this piece that can make my handle. Select those 2 vertices here, Shift Control B, hold Shift and pull. You can use 3 or 5 if you want. I'm just going to do that. And let's convert that to a curve. And in the curve menu over here under Geometry Bevel Depth, hold Shift and pull to the right. And I think that handle might be a little bit too tall. I'm going to take it and scale in the Z. Do it like that. Just make sure it makes contact. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I want it out a bit more. I'm going to select those and pull them in. Okay, so something like that. Let's see, shade smooth. Does that look big enough? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take that and scroll up, change the resolution from 12 to 3, and convert to mesh, and then I'm going to select that and Control J to join them. So I've got that part done. Okay. Now, the only thing I'm thinking about now is, yeah, this piece is longer than this, is it not? Is it just my imagination? Like if this one's up near the top and this one isn't, it has to be shorter. All right. Okay, so we got the handle, we got that piece, we got the cutaway. We're going to do the dots in just a minute. Maybe I will go ahead and join this and this. So let's see. This one has a bevel. This one has a bevel. The bevels are the same. Let's Control J to join those. And I'm going to join, no. This doesn't have a bevel. This does. I'm not going to add the bevel yet, but just to show you, I could add weighted normal and normal's auto smooth to fix that up. And that's what it's looking like so far. All right, well, let's do the hinges and the hinges here, which is just like a cube almost, and a bolt, and then we can do the dots. So to do that, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to leave my cursor there, and I'm going to bring in a cube and just G to drag it over. And let's see what we want to do. Let's scale this in the Y a little bit and just have a look at this thing. We'll scale the whole thing down. Oops, I may have gone the wrong way. And I was thinking what I would do is something like put an edge loop there, take this edge and just pull it down. It's going to be real simple. All right, and that's going to go in, and I'll get the side like that basically. Let me scale that in the X so we might see a little bit of this part here. All right, let's get rid of some of the stuff we're not going to need. Let's get rid of these faces and this face. And, okay, let's just have a look at that. I mean, that could be good enough. Did I get rid of what I wanted? Yeah, I think I did. All right, well, let's start with that. Let's come in here and in edge selection, Shift Alt and click that edge and that edge. Shift Alt and click this one and this one. And let's Control B to bevel, pull just with 3. And I'm going to Shift Alt and click there and bevel those. Like that. If I shade smooth, you'll see it looks a little bit like it's got these steps to it. Now, that'll catch a little bit of light there. And let's say I had one there. And so what I'll do is, I think I'm going to use my 3D cursor. Let's try it with that. Let's try taking this and set the origin to the 3D cursor and mirror that cube down in the Z. No, okay, that's not where I want it. So in that case, I will come in here and select this edge, because that edge goes all the way from there to there. It's symmetrical. Shift S, cursor to selected, and now I'll take these and I will set the origin to the 3D cursor, and now it's mirrored with respect to this. I just want to look at the reference and see, you know, if I'm kind of on the right track. Looks like they're a little bit further down, so I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to push it down a little bit more, put my dots in there. Doesn't matter if it doesn't line up perfectly. There's not a lot of room for that hinge, but I just want to have a look at it. Comes almost to the edge there, and I can't see it that well, so I'm going to go with that. I think that looks all right. So what I'll do is I'm going to apply that mirror, go into edit mode, box select a little bit of that, and press Control L to select everything, Shift D to duplicate it, and just pull it down to where the 3D cursor was, so it's pretty much in the middle of those. And save again. Double check my polys. Everything's good. With my 3D cursor right there, I'm going to bring in a cylinder, and I'll make this cylinder 16 vertices. And you know what? I'm going to put nothing so that there's no top or bottom. It makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to scale this down, and like that. I'm going to rotate X 90, push it out, and I'll just start getting the size of this bolt here. Let's go back to the reference, this bolt. So it's certainly not the size of this, but it's maybe about half the size. So I'm going to scale it down. I want it bigger than the holes anyhow. So with that done, I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge, F to make a face, Control B to bevel with 3. Take that, and it's going to pull it out, and I'm going to pull that up, push that on, and shade smooth. I want this relatively prominent, this one. Right, they are, and they may not even exactly be that shape, but that's going to be fine. So I'm going to have one for each of these bolts. And if we wanted to try and achieve that shape, I don't know how easy it would be for us. Scale, we could do that, I suppose. Yeah, I think I am just going to copy these by eye. I don't think it's that crucial. So just put one there. Shift D, and I'll just zoom in as I place them so they're roughly in the middle of that. All right, let's save that. We're doing really well. Now, let's have a look at the statistics right now. All right, that's not too bad at all. We're going to go up. I'm going to leave that on. We're going to go up for sure as soon as we start doing these holes. And to make the holes, I think I'm going to take a piece of this. I'm going to take that central circle. So I switched to face selection and I selected it. Shift D, just so I can gauge the size of the holes versus the bolt. The holes are not that much smaller than this. And really they're not holes, they're just indents. And it's definitely texture. You could easily do that in Substance Painter. But we're going to do it here in geometry. In fact, I may have a problem because I may have gotten rid of some backsides and stuff, so they may be open, so we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to extrude that back. I'm going to take, actually, I'm going to separate that. Control L, P to separate by selection. Let's come in here, pull it out. I can work on this end and flip it. I'm just going to take it, I want to make it nice and long. Control B, I'm going to bevel this so that we have a little bit of a beveled hole. I'm going to select this and rotate X 180. So now it's facing back in. Just push it in there. That's not the position it's going to go, but. All right. Okay. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this. I'm going to add an array and separate this. And I'm going for 6 of these indents. And I need to not hit this bolt because it goes on the side of the bolts. You can see here there's 6. They almost go to the edge, and then there's 5. So 6 indents, 5, 6, 5, 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see what I'm getting at in a second. So let's say I had that. I'm then going to, how do I want to do this? I'll just copy the array. Let's set the origin to geometry, Shift D and G, and I'm going to pull it roughly to the middle. But on this array, I'm going to make it 5. And then you can just position it as however you want. Okay. Now, I'm going to take those and I'm going to, actually I have to apply the array. I'm going to apply. I'm going to apply. I'm going to select both and Control J. And now I'm going to array this in the Z. So 0 out the X. And I want in the Z, I'm going to hold Shift and I just want to get it to look kind of natural, like, something like that. And I'm going to try 5. That's looking just fine actually to me. And that's going to get copied down here. And I just want to see if they look big enough. This much space here and this much space here. So let's compare that. It almost looks pretty even, the amount of distance from here to here and here to where the curve starts. And the same thing on the bottom. So I just let's see. You know, I'm just increasing the size here. I think that's going to be okay. If I just take that and duplicate that and drag it down here. Okay, we have a little bit of a problem on the bottom. It may not be long enough. Let's see. Let's see where that bolt is and then where that is. Maybe the holes need to be smaller. Maybe the bolts need to be smaller. Okay, so there's this much room down here. This could, let's do this. Let's come into wireframe, box select that. Let's pull that down a little bit, giving ourselves still some room. And I'm still not happy with that distance, but I think that probably could be okay for us. You know, you can do a better job than I'm doing if you wanted to. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply that. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to apply that array. And I'm going to take them both and I'm going to join them. And I'm just going to hold on a second now. Let's alt 10 recalculate outside. And I've got shade smooth on it right now, and that's fine. That's why they're looking more like balls than cylinders. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. So you can see actually where we're at now with this geometry here. If I take that and hide it, we're back down. So let's bring that back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this piece here, and I'm going to add a boolean. I'm going to drag it to the top. To make this a little easier, I'm going to select this and Control L, P to break it out. And I'm going to break out this piece. I'm going to hide that piece and I'm going to look at this. Now when I join this, I really don't want the back piece on there. All right, at any rate, I've got this. So I have a boolean set to go. I'm going to select my cylinders here. And as soon as I do that, I tend to lose some of my bevel here, but I can add more of a bevel after. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Take these. I can get rid of them now. I now have my holes. And this bevel, I don't think is helping anything right now. So what I think I may do is come in here and Shift Alt and click the edge all the way around. And try to get just what I want, just these edges here, all the way around. And I think I got that one. So let's Control B and give this a try. Okay, I'm not worrying about the shading right now because I can add weighted normal and normal's auto smooth to fix that. I just get a little bit of my bevel back, but I'm also not going to need this back, so get rid of that, and that helps as well. I can now take this and I can go back and join that now. Only thing is that one has a bevel. Let's not do that yet, because I may not want the bevel on this. So now that we've gotten rid of it, and I have the bevel on this piece. So I'm going to, I don't need that. I'm going to go ahead and apply this bevel, and now I can join those without any problem. Okay, because I've done that, I can now join those. And this one has a bevel on it. Do I even really need a bevel on there? Because I did my own, right? So I'm going to get rid of that. And I can take this and I can join those. And this has a mirror on it for the top and the bottom. I just have a couple more things to do, but I can go ahead and apply that and take those and I can join those as well. And now that I've done that, I have all these pieces joined, not that yet. I'm going to merge by distance. Sometimes you get rid of some vertices. Let's have a look at this stuff. If there's any mirrors or anything, we'll just go ahead and join that. And these ones, we'll go ahead and join that. Again, I'm going to do this, merge by distance, and you can see my polys have gone up. Still not that high poly. All right, we're getting close to the end. Let's do some bolts on the side, and let's use these. So I'm going to select this and Control L, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out, go into edit mode, rotate Z 90. Press 3 to look from the side, and G and just drag it up here. And I think I'll use this size bolt. I'm just going to push it in like that. 3 to look from the side, and I'm just going to duplicate them and do it by eye. So do that. A to select those, Shift D to duplicate, pull them down like that. And then let's select something central like the back. Shift S, cursor to selected. And the reason I do that is so I can take these and set the origin to the 3D cursor and then mirror them over to the other side. And if I'm happy with that, I will go ahead and apply the mirror, and I will join these to the body as well. Now I'm just joining everything, whether or not you need to do that. It's up to you. So everything's joined. Once again, I'm coming in though, and I'm merging by distance, and I think I'll have a quick look at this. Okay. And the final thing is just a design type thing on the sides, vent-like thing. So how do I want to do this? Let's take the side and bring the 3D cursor there first of all. Look from the side and bring in a cylinder. I'm going to go for, let's see, I'll try 16. I'm going to rotate Y 90. Actually, I need to rotate Z 90. Scale it down. I'm going to scale it in the Y a bit. You'll see what I'm getting at in a minute. I'm going to bring that up and out. Okay, at this point, I'm going to Shift Alt and click and fill those in. And I'm going to bevel them. And I'm going to use a few more like that. Let's see. All right. Look from the front, and I'm going to cut off in wireframe some of this. I'm going to cut off the bottom here. X vertices. And I'm going to cut off, let's see, the back. Fill that in. Fill that in. I'm just trying to decide how I want to do this exactly. Maybe what we'll do is we'll use the knife tool, bring it down, press A so it goes straight. I just want to add some more geometry. Look from the back, use the knife tool, there, A down to the bottom. And what is it I want to get rid of here? Exactly. I think just the back, so we'll try this. We'll just come here and delete that stuff. That be okay? Was that good enough? Didn't have to do it this way. Well, we'll see. Might be okay. That's probably fine. I could use a UV sphere. Might be a little nicer. Let's E and Alt S and pull to give this some thickness. And then just focus on this. And we can get rid of some. 3 for face selection. Select here. And hold Control and select there. X faces. We'll get rid of those faces. And I'm going to, in edge selection, Shift Alt to click there and there. We're going to bevel. Control B. I just need 3. I'll shade smooth. And we have this. Let's just make sure it's facing the right way. It's not. Alt N, recalculate outside. And then we can array this down. And I'll make sure it looks relatively centered. I think it looks okay. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to hit array and just bring it down in the Z. Maybe not quite that much. Maybe go for 3 of those or something. It may have looked nicer if I used a UV sphere, but I think this is probably okay as well. And so I want to mirror that, so I'm going to select the back again because it's central, bring the 3D cursor there, set the origin to the 3D cursor, and I'll go ahead and I'll apply that. And we'll add a mirror in the, what am I doing? No, in the X. And just, I'm not sure where to put these. I'm going to scale them up a bit too, just so a bit more prominent. And I'll go ahead and I will apply that mirror, and I will take that and I will join it so it's all seamless, merge by distance, and that is going to be it. All right, so it's not low poly, but it's not too hot, too bad. And we certainly could have done things differently. You know, yeah, whatever. Let's do this. Yeah, okay. Let's drag it down a little bit. Let's Shift C. It's in a collection. It's just one thing. So let's Shift A. Collection instance collection. Just drag another one out. You can rotate in the Z. and set up a little scene so you can take a screenshot or whatever. And I'm going to turn off my screencast keys, and I'll turn off the statistics. Where are they? There. And we'll turn on the shadow, and we'll have a look with a few different matte caps on here. Let's just turn that off. All right, so hopefully we don't have any weird shading. It looks reasonably good. And you can try various matte caps for this. And of course, if you wanted, you can just colorize it by clicking on Object and over here, and in the instance one doesn't generally, one of them doesn't take it. If you wanted it dark or whatever. Yeah. Okay. And that is that. We haven't textured it, but I think I'm going to leave it at this, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do from that point on, okay? So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.